promoting solar intelligence, we need to be careful that we don't overpromise and underdeliver. Actually, quite the opposite. So we look in depth at your Tshwane or your municipal electricity bill for clues as to how we can save you more and make sure that your investment is optimum and that the best returns can be enjoyed from your investment. So I'm just going to look at the same bill, the Tshwane bill we spoke about earlier, and we looked at earlier in one of the earlier sessions, and look at the different components and see how can we unpack this, see if we can save a bit more. Again, looking at August-September electricity bill for this particular business, we have the energy consumption. So that's off-peak, peak, and standard energy consumption. So those three is a consumption, a function of consumption. Can the energy come from another source? Yes, it can. It can come from the sun or from a battery. But yes, that energy can come from another source. So that's a clue for us. Then there is a fixed charge, that 4,530 Rand over there. Can we replace that or get away from that? The answer is no. There's nothing we can do about it. Unless you completely disconnect from Tshwane or from your municipality and you go off-grid in toto, you will be exposed to that fixed fee. You can't change that. And we saw another component there as the demand charge, maximum demand charge of 15,000 Rand. Can we get away from that? That's a function of what is your highest consumption or your highest power demand in any 30-minute period in the period that you're being assessed. Can we address those two? The answer is yes. We're going to show you how we change the cost or exposure to the different tariffs, and we can manage the peaks. It's called peak shaving. I'll talk you through peak shaving in the second session. And in this session, I'm going to touch briefly on arbitrage. Now, arbitrage goes about playing with the tariffs. That there's an expensive tariff and there's a cheap tariff. So if we can reduce your consumption, the expensive tariff, then surely we can reduce your levelized cost of energy. So how can we substitute the expensive tariff with a cheap tariff? Is there a way we can do that? Yes, we can. We call that arbitrage. Have a quick look at this. Back to the data from the data logger. So you saw this table, one of the previous sessions, where we have the different hours of the day. Maybe just to orientate quickly again. This is hour of the day from midnight to midnight. There we go, from midnight to midnight, hour of the day. And then we can see from the logger, L1, L2, L3, the three different phases. That's the total consumption from midnight to midnight. And this is the data that's valuable that we can use then for arbitrage. So arbitrage, the objective is to replace the expensive energy with cheap energy. All right. So again, just to look at what the Tshwane difference will be. Let's just look at the high demand season. These again are the tariffs as they come from the Tshwane papers. Off-peak energy is 143 per kilowatt hour. Peak energy is 6.50. That's around about 4 or 5 times almost the cost of energy. So surely, if I can replace my expensive energy, 6.51, 6.52, if I can replace that with 143, that will be a massive saving. Then we can reduce the levelized cost of energy, and we get a better return on our investment. So how do we do that? Well, we know that we use 77 kilowatt hour per day on average. We've done that calculation before. So this 77 kilowatt hour is the sum, if we're going to do that, that is the sum of these 3 hours and those 2 hours. Those are the peak periods. So on an average day, that is my peak consumption. My off-peak consumption are those hours. So what if we could take this energy, store that energy, because we paid 1 Rand, what was it, 160, 140 odd per kilowatt hour. If we can store that energy in the battery, then we've got cheap energy in the battery. And then when the clock strikes, 7 or 6, whatever we're doing, which season we are, then we can discharge the battery. So we charge the battery at 140 odd per kilowatt hour. Now when the energy is expensive at 650 or 600, whatever the number was, then I'm using cheap energy in expensive periods. Then I escape the expensive tariffs. Well, that's what we do. Arbitrage is during the night, so when the energy is cheap, we charge the battery, 100% capacity. So tomorrow morning when the clock strikes 7 or 6, whatever season we are, then we discharge the battery. Then we don't have exposure to these hours. And we escape that excessive energy cost. Then during the middle of the day, standard energy, that again, that's expensive energy. But if we have solar panels installed, surely the solar energy, the levelized cost of energy, we'll see that later, the levelized cost of energy from a pure grid-tied system, less than 50 cents per kilowatt hour. Then we charge the battery. with solar energy. We must just make sure we've installed enough solar panels that we can power the building to obviously save that energy cost, and to also then recharge the battery. Again, recharging the battery back to 100%, that this afternoon, when we go back into the tariff period, that the battery is recharged, and then we again escape that expensive tariff with the cheaper energy that's now stored in the battery. That is called arbitrage. That's one of the mechanisms that we implement to maximize your investment. Again, SolarIntelligence, as done by Polymath Solar.
We love the earth, it is our planet.